And welcome back to CentralCoastRadio.com. Well, I want to take a look now at a brand new film that is out in cinemas right now. It's called You Hurt My Feelings, and it stars Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who of course most people would know as Elaine from Seinfeld. Now, this is the latest film from director-writer Nicole Hoffensteiner, who many of you would know a few years ago wrote and directed a brilliant film called Enough Said, which also starred Julia. She also directed Friends with Money, of course, another great film. And if you know her work, you'll know that her films are dialogue-heavy dramas, and that is certainly the case for You Hurt My Feelings as well. In this film, Julia Louis-Dreyfus plays Beth, a novelist who years earlier wrote a biography about her relationship with her dad that became an instant success, but she has struggled with her new book since then. She finds herself teaching a writing class where the students seem to kind of lack any originality in their work, and she learns as they go on that they don't even know that she's written a book in the past. She's having a strained relationship with her manager because of the fact that her new book is just not something that they're that interested in. Now, she's married to Don, played by Tobias Menzies, who is a counselor who's having his own work dilemma. Some of his clients are starting to show signs that they don't respect him as a counselor, that they feel like he's not doing anything for them anymore. So he's kind of having a little bit of an issue with his own work. At the same time, Beth's sister Sarah, played by Michaela Watkins, she's running a successful business as an interior decorator. And although she has a problem client, it seems to be going well. But her partner, Mark Arion Moyade, he is trying to make it as an actor, but is struggling to do so and is starting to ask the question whether or not he needs to start thinking about a different career path. At the same time, Don and Beth also have kind of a strained relationship with Elliot, played by Owen Teague, their son, who they have high hopes for, especially Beth, who thinks he can be a successful writer, but he's happy just working in a pot store, which she thinks is kind of beneath him. Now, the whole idea of this film is not only around people having struggling with their work lives later in life, but also looks at what happens when you don't have the support of your partner, because Beth's life is turned upside down when she hears Don speaking to Mark, and he talks about the fact that he is not that enamored with her brand new novel. In fact, he doesn't think it's that good, which causes Beth to kind of spiral, but also causes problems between their relationship, and it's not something that she's willing to talk to him about. Now, like I said, if you've seen any of Nicole Hoffensteiner's earlier films, you will know that they are dialogue heavy, and that is certainly the case with You Hurt My Feelings as well. This is not a film where you're going to get car chases or anything like that. This is a film where, for a majority of the film, the characters are sitting down talking, or talking in cafes and things like that. It almost feels like watching a theatrical production playing out in front of you up on the big screen. Where this film works, though, is the brilliant performances and the great screenplay. The whole idea that Beth is living this kind of secret life now that she knows that her husband thinks that her new novel is rubbish, really adds a suspense to this that you would almost get from a thriller. Even though it's a drama, there's this suspense there where you think, is this going to be the end of their marriage because she's found out what he really feels about her work? And that the fact that he won't talk to her about it, which is kind of ironic because she won't talk to him about it either. It is an interesting film. It's not a film for everybody. If you don't like dialogue-heavy films, this isn't one for you to go and explore, because it pretty much is 2 hours of these characters talking. So like I should say an hour and a half, because it goes for about an hour and a half, but it is an hour and a half of these characters talking through their problems. There's little hints of comedy in there as well. There's a great scene where Don has this client where the client won't say anything to Don about the fact that he doesn't feel that Don's counseling is working for him anymore, but every time he hangs up a Zoom call or he leaves the room, Don overhears a derogatory comment that this guy is making. So there's little elements of comedy like that in there as well, but mainly this is a very, very heavy film that explores what happens if you're in your 40s or your 50s and you suddenly realize that you're in the wrong occupation, or that perhaps the occupation that you're doing you're not as good as you thought you were going to be. So it is a pretty heavy film. Like I said, the screenplay works if you like kind of theatrical films. I could see this working very, very easily as an off-Broadway kind of production as well. But it's the performances that really bring this screenplay to life. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and as I said before, people know her as Elaine from Seinfeld, but she's a brilliant dramatic actress, and she does show that again in You Hurt My Feelings. Tobias Menzies is fantastic as her husband, Don. And also Michaela Watkins does an amazing job here as she becomes kind of the sounding board for Beth's character as well. So if you don't mind a wordy film that's really going to draw you into its world, go and check out You Hurt My Feelings. Again, it's a film that's got a little bit of a scattered release, so make sure you check your local cinema guide to see if it's showing near you. But You Hurt My Feelings is well worth a look. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5. You're on centralcoastradio.com.